Okay, so for this last video, we are going to be talking about independent and dependent variables. So for the first one, an independent variable, that variable is the variable that represents the input values x. So you kind of remember it, they both start with in, input, independent. And a dependent variable is a variable that represents the output values of y. You kind of think of it as it depends on the value of the independent. So let's say we're looking at an equation y equals 3x plus 2. My x is independent because I can choose whatever value I want for x. I can do 1, I can do whatever. My y is dependent because its value depends on the value that I put in for x. So if I put in 1 for x, I get 3 times 1 plus 2, which is equal to 5. So y is equal to 5. But if I put another value for x, that's going to change my value for y. So that is why y is the dependent variable, because it is depending on the value that you input for x. Or again, if you're going to that vending machine example, your candy bar you get depends on the button you push on the vending machine. It is the dependent variable, while the button you push is independent because you're just choosing that. Okay, so let's look at an example. So the function y equals negative 3x plus 12 represents the amount y in fluid ounces of juice remaining in a bottle after you take x gulps. So first I want to identify the independent and dependent variable. Well, the independent variable, that's going to be my x, and that is gulps. My dependent variable is always my y, which was juice remaining. So again, when you think of that as the amount of juice remaining in a bottle really depends on how many gulps that you took of that juice. Okay, now for the next one, it says that the domain is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. What is the range? So when we're doing this, again, my domain, that's all my x values. So it's what I'm inputting into the equation. And so I have my equation right here. I have my x values. So now to find my y's, I just need to plug in my x values into this equation. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little table here. So I'm going to have my x's here, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go ahead and put my equation right here so we can show that work. And then we're going to end with my y. So for this first one, my input x is 0, so I'm going to put 0 in place for x here. And negative 3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 12 is 12. And I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm going to input 1. So I'm going to have negative 3, 1 for x. Well, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, plus 12 is 9. And then I'm just going to keep on going. Negative 6 plus 12 is 6. Negative 9 plus 12 is 3. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0. So if you notice, I really just went down by 3 each time. And so I have my answer. What's my range? My range is, I'll start with my smallest first, 0, 3, 6, 9, and 12. And so if you're thinking of this in terms of the problem, I had 0 gulps, so I haven't had anything to drink yet. I had 12 ounces of juice in the bottle. However, once I got to my 4th gulp, all of the juice was gone. So I finished the juice in the bottle after 4 gulps. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this next one on your own. Okay, this is the answers you should have gotten for number 2. So this one used different letters, but that's okay. Whatever one is kind of in the equation, that's always going to be my independent, because that's the one I'm just inputting into there. Whatever is off to the side, so it's saying A equals all of that, it's going to depend on what you put in for B, so that's why this one is the dependent variable. So the independent was the batches of guacamole, and the dependent was avocados you have left. And so it said the domain is 0, 1, 2, and 3, and I wanted to find the range. And so I put my input, which was my independent, which was B, here, and I inputted that into my equation to find my A. And so I got this as my range. And so if we're reading this to kind of see what this means, when I had 0 batches of guacamole, I had 14 avocados. So I started with 14. But by the end, after I made 3 batches of guacamole, I only had 2 avocados left.